Hi, welcome to another episode of Guys in Black. Today's topic is going to be cryptocurrency investing, and is cryptocurrency investing a scam? So we're going to jump right into it. With basic thoughts on what Abhiroop feels, and then I can sort of move on to like what I really feel about the whole thing. So, Avi, what do you think about cryptocurrency investing? And I think start with, do you invest? And I think let the audience know about your experience with investing.
Yeah, so jumping into the second question first, whether I invest or not. So I've invested very small amount, like barely anything, just to test how the whole thing operates and stuff like that. For the last one, I used one app called Upstocks. Last 1 year, for the entirety of the period, my portfolio was down. Last 1 week, I saw that it's up by 200%. I have no idea why or how, but yeah, I've invested like very small amount just to see how the whole thing sort of works. That's for the second question. First, coming to first question, whether is crypto trading or investing a scam or not. I mean, it's a tricky thing, so to speak. Scam could probably, whether investing is scam or not, I'm not sure, but yeah, there are definitely questions in terms of the people who are offering some kind of crypto, whether through a meme coin or something, whether they are doing it for the purpose of scam or they just want to make a quick buck or something like that. That's again something questionable, because if you just keep the technology, I would say, separate, which is blockchain and the primary idea of decentralized ledger, that is a solid tech. Which, and there we've realized that okay, there are sort of multiple use cases for it. But yeah, there has not been any solid justification that has come up yet for crypto being a valuable asset. So if there is no valuable, tangible sort of value creation which is happening for any of the coins, why is it that the value is going up and people are coming up with different kind of sort of assets and people are still putting in money? What is the idea behind it? I personally feel that it's a little dubious, the whole nature of it. So I'm not very high on believing that okay, it's some genuine value creation that's happening there.
Right. I think Abhiru makes some very valid points, and I think one of the things that he said that the underlying technology in itself is of value, and that's not like really a scam. But some of the coins that come out, which are sort of known as meme coins or altcoins, some projects definitely have very varying levels of you can say like confusion, in the sense that like a lot of them don't really have like good backing and very strong projects like completely backing the coin, right? So what I'm trying to say is that yes, whereas Bitcoin and Ethereum and some very other well-known coins are not really entirely a scam, but there are been cases of meme coins. Specifically, like if you think about it, like very recently there was this coin called Hoptua, right, which got famous by this Instagram influencer who came out with this coin, and then overnight I think investors who had invested in the coin completely lost their money, right? And I think that was one of the examples that even he was talking about, wherein that there have been cases where investors have lost their entire capital, and there has been no sort of recourse for that as well, right? I think another thing to really note would be the regulation.
Yeah.
So just quick word on that, and then I'll just sort of add my thoughts.
I mean, just from an India perspective, I guess the Indian government is treating it as an asset class, though there are no sort of hardcore regulations around it. But the primary basis of monitoring it is that if they're treating it as an asset class, so if you book a profit, there obviously is like heavy tax.
How much is that? Can you just also let the audience know how much tax?
I think it's 28% or 30% on capital. So it's like even higher than capital gains tax on whatever profit that you book on crypto trading. So that's definitely one of the larger overlying laws that are governing the whole crypto trading scenario in India. I'm not really sure how US or the European markets are dealing with it.
Got it. No, I think definitely, regulation is something, firstly, it's very important, really needed for the industry, right? I think the more regulation there is, in the sense that, there will be less, obviously, scams, and investors who don't really have much knowledge, will be sort of safeguarded from those scams, right? But like I said, whereas overall industry, it kind of does affect that over regulation also is not really beneficial. But I think under regulation also is not the need of the hour. So I think we need to go in a space where there is regulation that also helps traders profit from cryptocurrency trading, but also safeguards their interests, wherein the unknowing investors are kind of safeguarded from these cryptocurrency scams that come about, right?
So just to probably pose a question to you, do you consider crypto coins, like do you think that there's a chance that this can turn into a currency, or one should deal with it as an asset? Because just from my perspective, if I take it as a currency, I think it's like it's a dead end for me. But if I look at it as an asset, probably in the long run, and like the ones that you mentioned, like probably a Bitcoin or an Ethereum, then I would say probably there's some value to it. But and there's like a subsequent question to it. But let's hear your initial thoughts on this part.
So, I think good question, and I think when it started off, in the early days, it was supposed to be like currency, right? It was supposed to be medium of exchange, but it never became. So, early days, if you really go back to even see the history in the US, right, how people use bitcoins, people were buying and using bitcoins and selling bitcoins to even buy something like pizza, right, for example. But at that time, obviously, there was no real awareness in the masses, wherein they were really accepting it as a medium of exchange. But some businesses were at some point accepting Bitcoin as a form of currency. I think where it sort of fell through as a medium of exchange was the fact that its value kept going up, right? So when the currency value goes up in such a way, it kind of sort of there is no real definition, or you can say like a way of exchanging something. Like I could sell this cup today, for like one Bitcoin, and tomorrow like the value goes up like crazy, right? And then all of a sudden, you would not want to sell me that sort of cup, for example.
Exactly.
So I think currencies in general need to be a little more stable, and that's why I think the second thing which you said was as an asset. I think definitely it's more as an asset in terms of like I would compare it to even let's say gold, right? So I think it's like digital gold.
Exactly.
So I think that is something that what it's evolved to.
Yeah.
That was probably not the idea when it first started, but I think today like it's very different, right? So today it's definitely more like digital gold versus like a form of currency, even though the name currency in it.
Exactly.
I think it's more like a crypto asset and not a currency. So that's why I think when people are trading in cryptocurrency in this sense or different crypto assets, I think they have to sort of have some form of caution to understand how the markets work. And I think just one final thing that I think I would want to say about this was I think whenever you are investing in something, people really need to look at not just the current market and how it's going up and down, but also like the project. So if it's not really a well-known coin, I think they really need to understand, read the you can say like just about more about the project, who's backing it,
right?
The paper that's been the white paper that's been written about the project, and just do your basic research, right? It's as I would say I would compare it to reading a financial report of a company, right? So you would read I would say like a financial report, a balance sheet, or and a profit loss statement before investing in a company. So similarly, I think people need to really read like I would say like a white paper before really investing and jumping into a cryptocurrency.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the basic premise of currency is to have economy flowing and value creation. Now, if you have something which is limited, like let's say Bitcoin, you know that there are only 21 million Bitcoin out there to be mined, out of which 18 million has been mined, 3 million is yet to be mined. If there is a limited amount of something, it can't be used as a currency because it will stop the expansion or value creation of the economy. Because
great point,
whereas like you mentioned, if you compare it to something which is limited in quantity, like gold, then value creation just because of the sheer scarcity of it leads to some kind of, I would say, value creation for the holder of the asset, but not at a macroeconomic level. So if you treat it like, okay, that's where I feel that okay, Bitcoin was purely like a marketing genius, where somebody made you believe that okay, there is some, I would say, perceived value to the asset. Firstly, there's scarcity, there are limited quantities, so if you hold on to even some part of it, obviously the value of that particular asset will go up, which is believable, but it can't really be part of the larger exchange of commerce at a national and an international level simply because of the limited nature of it.
Great. No, amazing points. And just one line to summarize the whole topic that we discussed. Just if you could summarize it in one line.
So, in just to summarize this, yeah, crypto, especially and the legit cryptos like Bitcoin or Ethereum and all, if you consider it to be like an asset, surely go for it, because I guess just 1 year ago the value of a Bitcoin was 20K. People were sort of betting that it will come. There were teams who were betting that it will go down to 10K. There were people who were betting that it will go up to 80K. Right now we saw that it's already crossed 100K, and it is expected to even reach the 500K mark. Now, again, purely from a math perspective, if and you draw parallels between Bitcoin and gold, they say that only 3 to 4% of the global wealth is invested in gold, whereas only 0.3% or 0.4% of the global wealth is invested in Bitcoin. Even if you take that to 3% lesser than gold also, the total market cap of Bitcoin will become $21 trillion. So a single Bitcoin, let's say if there are 21 million Bitcoins, it will go up to, which is right now $100K per Bitcoin, it will go up to $1 million. So yeah, if you're considering it to be an asset and you feel there will be enough people who will bet on that asset, go for it. The value might go up. If you consider that it will probably be, notarized as an official currency as good as a fiat currency, I sort of don't see that happening. What will probably happen is like how we are seeing the central governments are coming up with their own digital currencies and cryptos. That will probably be a better bet in that as a fiat currency,
like a government back,
like a government digital currency. I think that will be a better bet.
Great. Thanks for summarizing all of that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. We will be coming up with more topics, as we go ahead. Again, do leave us your feedback, if you found this interesting, or if you think we could have improved in some way, or if we have missed something that you wanted to sort of hear about. We will be keeping some of these videos like shorter,
Yeah.
and in future coming up with like longer videos. But thank you again for tuning in, and if you like the discussion, do let us know. We'll see you once again for the next episode.
Thanks.